我们对拍的态度可以反映我们的内心世界和我们对生活的看法。因此，我想分享我的个人经历，改变我的态度，如何改变了我的生活。我修炼已经有10多年了，在这段时间里，我不仅改变了自己的外表，也改变了我的人生观和环境。最重要的是，我获得了自信、成功和幸福。我想分享一个激励我的故事，希望你也能从中有所收获。了凡四训是由袁了凡（中文袁了凡1533到1606）所著的一本书，他是明代中国官员，出生于今江苏省吴江县。袁写这本书是为了教导他的儿子袁天池。这些课程背后的主要思想是，命运可以通过培养善良和谦逊来改变，因此一个人不应该被命运所束缚，而应该被自己的行为所束缚。如果我们只关注他人的消极方面，扭曲他们的善意，或出于自私而利用或伤害他人，就会对我们的身心和命运产生负面影响。因此，我们应该努力学习如何宽恕、慷慨和感恩。当我们学会欣赏和赞扬他人的努力时，我们的内心就会发生变化，这种积极的转变也会反映在我们的身体和环境中。重要的是要专注于努力实现有利于伟大事业的正确目标，例如 Pi Network， 而不必过多担心结果。就像果实会自行成熟、自行落下一样，我们不需要一直问它什么时候会发生。我们要相信，只要我们朝着正确的方向不断努力，收获就会到来。袁了凡被孔信道士告知他只能活到53岁，没有儿子。起初他对这位和尚的话不以为然，认为是无稽之谈。但随着孔其他的预言开始准确无误的发生，他便主动的努力改写自己的命运。69岁的袁先生在讲述自己改变命运的人生经历时，写下了这4句教训给儿子。第1课展示了如何创造命运，第2课讲解改变命运的方法，第3课揭示了培养仁慈的方法，第4课揭示了谦卑美德的好处。该书400多年后仍在流传，据说是学习如佛的有益基础。改变命运的3个条件：人必须有羞耻心、敬畏心、勇猛心。一个人必须始终对自己的意图和行为保持谨慎和认真，并对神圣和宇宙规则、金科玉律抱有庄严的尊重。要有改正错误的决心和勇气。改变命运的3种方法：通过行动改变，通过推理改变，从新开始改变。培养慈心的10种方法：1. 支持行善； 2. 怀有爱与尊重； 3. 帮助他人成功； 4. 说服他人行善； 5. 帮助那些急需帮助的人； 6. 发展更多造福人民的公共工程。我相信 Pi Network 就是这样的项目。7. 通过捐赠给予； 8. 保护正确的教学； 9. 尊重长辈； 10. 爱护一切众生。一旦你了解了这种改变命运的方法，你就可以持有并珍惜你的派，并为 Pi Network 的成功竭尽全力。Pi Network 是一个革命性的平台，旨在改变世界并带来和平与幸福。让我们花点时间欣赏我们此刻所拥有的一切，并希望且祈祷世界和平。下面请欣赏《了凡四训》电影版全2集，配有英文音频和中文字幕。
头面顶礼7句之，我今称赞大准提，唯愿慈悲垂加护。
The faults and offenses we can change along the same lines. If we can understand the reasoning behind the need to reform, we will not make the same mistake twice. Though a person's fault can amount to thousands of different types, they all stem from thoughts of the mind. Tianqi, come here. If your heart is rooted in vices such as desire, fame, profits, or anger, you don't have to find ways to get rid of each fault. All you need is a sincere, kind heart and the willingness to practice kind deeds. As long as your heart is virtuous and kind, then naturally your mind will not generate any improper thoughts. All mistakes stem from the heart. Therefore, one should change from the heart. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
If we are willing to cultivate our hearts, then it is possible to purify our thoughts right away. And this is because wrongdoings originate from the heart. Purifying the heart can erase all improper and bad thoughts before they are carried out in action. The best way is by cultivating the heart and understanding the reason behind the need to change. noble deeds and accumulated merits will really benefit one's descendants. A proverb says, "One who is pure-hearted will be respected by both gods and ghosts." There was an imperial secretary from Taizhou by the name of Ta Zhu-ying. When he was young, he used to study in remote mountain areas, and he had the following encounter.
Here's your opportunity. There's a village woman whose husband left home a long time ago and has not returned. Her in-laws think that their son is dead and are forcing her to remarry. But she is defying their order because she wants to preserve her chastity.
That's right. Tomorrow night she's going to commit suicide by hanging herself here. And will replace me so that I can be reborn again.
Congratulations! Tonight let me celebrate with you first.
No. I must try to save the woman.
In order to save the woman, Mr. Ying immediately set out to sell his parcel of land on the following day. He obtained 4 liangs of silver and made up a letter from the daughter-in-law's husband and sent it to her home along with the silver. The parents-in-law, they noticed that the letter was not in their son's handwriting. But upon examining the silver, they found that the silver was indeed genuine. And as such, they did not insist on forcing their daughter-in-law to remarry. Therefore, the daughter-in-law did not commit suicide, and her husband returned home eventually, and it was a happy union.
Well done! Mr. Ying not only saved the woman, but also her marriage. It's really a good deal.
Later, Mr. Ying heard the ghosts speaking to each other again.
Originally, I was able to leave this place for rebirth, but my chance got messed up by Mr. Ying.
Why don't you inflict some harm on him?
No, I can't. His goodness and virtue has been recognized by the Supreme God, and he's going to receive a prominent position in the future. How can I harm him?
Another example of attaining good outcomes from practicing kindness is someone who is a distant family of our Yuan clan.
Is it so? Who is he then?
He is Ping Bao, who lived in Jiaxing. Ping was the youngest of the 7 sons of the magistrate of Qizhou, Anhui province. He was sought into marriage by the Yuan family at Pinghu County. Ping Bao was very knowledgeable and talented, but he was never able to pass the exams. Once, while traveling on one of his many journeys to Lake Liu, he was caught in very heavy rain.
Buddhist teachings often speak of the retributions for good and evil. They say it's like the shadow following the body wherever it goes. This is saying that doing good will always have its rewards, and doing evil will always have its punishments. Then why is it that there are people who practice kind deeds, but their families and descendants are not prosperous and successful? On the other hand, there are evil and wicked people who do bad things, but their families and descendants do quite well. Is there no fairness in Buddha's teachings?
Ordinary people are blinded by worldly views. They have not cleansed their minds of impurities and cannot see with true perception. Therefore, they look upon true goodness as evil and mistaken true evil as goodness. This is very common nowadays. Furthermore, these people do not blame themselves for bad perception on their part, but instead blame the heavens for their misfortunes.
Master, goodness is goodness, and evil is evil. How can they be mistaken for each other?
Could each of you express your opinions on what is good and what is evil?
Master, to yell at and beat others is evil. To respect and treat others well is good.
Well, not necessarily.
Being greedy for wealth and taking another's money is evil. Not being greedy and abiding by proper way is good.
Not necessarily.
So, what is really considered good and what is really considered evil?
To do things with the intention of bringing benefit to others is good. To do things for the sake of oneself is evil. If what you do is for the sake of benefiting another, then it does not matter if you yell at him or beat him. That is still considered good. If your intention is for self-benefit, then, regardless of your appearance of respect and courtesy, it is still considered evil. Therefore, when one practices kind deeds with the sole intention of benefiting others, this is considered as benefiting the public. And if it's public, then it is real goodness. If you only think for yourself when doing kind acts, then what is considered private benefit, and that is false goodness. When kindness springs from within the heart, it is real goodness. When one does good just for the sake of doing a good deed, then it is false. Also, when one does good without expecting anything in return, it is considered real goodness. When one practices kind deeds for some other purpose than to benefit others, it is false. These differences should all be scrutinized by those who wish to practice true
the impact made on the public. What we do right now may be good, but with passing years it may inflict harm upon others. Therefore, what seems like goodness may in fact be the opposite, and what appears to be the opposite of goodness may someday turn out to be goodness done after all.
Father, what is improper goodness and proper goodness?
In the Ming Dynasty, there was once a prime minister named Wen Yi Liu, who, when growing old, retired to his hometown, where he was loved and respected by all. Once, a drunken villager proceeded to insult him. Mr. Liu thought that since he was drunk, he would not want to bother about the latter. A year later, the same man committed a grave crime and was sent to jail with the death sentence. Upon hearing this, Mr. Liu said with great remorse, "If I had taken him to the authorities for punishment that day when he came to insult me, perhaps this would not have happened. A little discipline then could have prevented the great harm done now and might have saved him from certain death." This is an example of doing something bad while having good intentions. There is also an example of those who did good when they in fact intended otherwise. Once a famine ravaged the land and people stole food from others in broad daylight. A rich family reported their stolen losses from the marketplace to the authorities, but the government did not want to get involved and did nothing to stop the people. Eventually, the people grew more daring and chaos was imminent. So the rich took the law into their own hands and proceeded to catch and punish those who stole from them. In this way, peace returned to the land and the people stole no more from one another. It was with selfish intentions that the rich family acted, but the result of their deeds actually did everyone a great benefit. For we all know that goodness is proper and evil is improper. But remember that there are cases where deeds done out of good intentions result in evil, and deeds done with evil intentions result in good.
Father, what is half goodness and full goodness?
In the I Ching it is said, when a person does not accumulate kind deeds, he or she will not attain good fortune. When one does not accumulate evil deeds, he or she will not bring about great adversity. If we are diligent in doing kind deeds, it is like collecting things in a container, and with diligence it will soon be full. If we are somewhat lazy in our collecting, then the container will be half filled. This is one explanation of half goodness and full goodness. Once upon a time, there was a poor lady. This lady went to visit a Buddhist temple and wished to make a donation. However, she was so poor that she had only 2 cents, so she gave these to the monk. To her surprise, the temple's abbot himself came forth to help her repent for past offenses and dedicate her merits in front of the Buddha. The lady was very touched by his move. Later on, the same lady was chosen to enter the imperial palace, and she became a concubine to the emperor. Clad in her riches, the lady once again went to the temple to donate, this time bringing thousands of silver pieces to give. To her dismay, the abbot only sent his disciple to help her dedicate her merits. The lady did not understand, and so she questioned the abbot.
Master, in the past, I only gave 2 cents in donation, and you helped me repent. Today, I donate in great sum, and you will not help me perform my dedication.
Amitabha, the money you gave in the past was scant. It came from a true and sincere heart, and it was necessary for me to repay your sincerity by personally performing your dedications. Today, although your donation is much more, the heart of giving is not quite as true and sincere as before. Thus, it is enough that my disciple performs your dedications for you.
Then, no matter how diligently we practice in an entire lifetime, the deeds will still be considered half goodness. For example, when we donate money to the poor, we can practice what is called pure donation. In this type of giving, we do not linger on the thought of I, who is giving, or dwell on the importance of the object I am giving away, or think of who the receiver is. We are simply giving, and it is out of true sincerity and respect. When we give with pure donation, then one dew of rice can bring boundless fortune, and the merit from giving 1 cent can wipe away the transgressions of 1,000 eons. If we always keep in mind the good we have done and expect rewards for our actions, then even a donation of thousands of liang of gold would still be considered half goodness.
In that case, how can we define big goodness and small goodness?
Once there was a high-ranking official named Zhong Da-wei, who was led into the spirit world to be judged for his good and bad deeds.
A.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Therefore, when one is determined to do good for the benefit of all people, accomplish it on their own, we should lend a hand and help them succeed. This is the way we can cultivate supporting the practice of kindness. The second category is harboring love and respect. We should harbor respect towards those who are more knowledgeable, older, or of higher status than we are. For those who are younger, less fortunate, or of lower status, we should harbor a mind of loving care. The third category is helping others succeed. When we see a person who is considering whether or not to do a good deed, we should persuade him to put all his efforts into doing it. When others meet with difficulties in practicing kindness, we should help think of ways to overcome the difficulty and guide them to success. We must not be jealous at the accomplishments of others, nor try to sabotage their good acts. The fourth category is persuading others to practice kindness. When we meet a person who is doing evil, we should tell him that doing evil will only result in great suffering and painful retribution, and that he must avoid doing evil at all costs. We should tell people who refuse to practice kindness or are only willing to practice a little kindness that doing kind deeds will definitely have its rewards, and that kindness not only has to be cultivated, but must be cultivated constantly and on a large scale. The fifth category is helping those in desperate need. Most people tend to give when there is no need to give, and refuse to give when there is really a need. When we meet people who are in great difficulties, emergencies or dangers, we should lend them a hand and help in whatever way we can to bring them out of their difficult times. The merits accrued from helping others in times of desperate needs are boundless indeed. However, one should not become proud and conceited for doing such deeds. The sixth category is developing public projects for the greater benefit of the people. Projects which will bring great benefit to the public usually have to be performed by those with great influence and power. If a person has this capacity, such as rebuilding the water system or assisting a disaster area, then he ought to do it for the benefit of the general public. The seventh category is giving through donation. People of this world love, seek, and even die for money. Who is actually willing to help others by giving their own money away? When we recognize the difficulty involved in donation, we can come to appreciate the rarity of the man who is willing to give for the purpose of helping others in need. He is an even greater man in the eyes of the poor. The eighth category is protecting the proper teachings. This is referring to the teachings of different religions. We must be able to differentiate between proper religions and deviant religions. Teachings with proper wisdom and views, such as that of Buddhism, which promotes kindness and goodness in society, should be supported. If one happens to see others in the act of destroying such proper teachings, one must put forth a complete effort to protect and uphold these teachings. The ninth category is respecting our elders. Anyone who is deeply learned, knowledgeable, has high prestige, or is older than us is considered to be an elder and should be highly regarded and respected. The 10th category is loving and cherishing all living things. We should feel sympathy for all living creatures, even the tiny ants, which know of suffering and are afraid to die. How can we kill and eat beings and not feel the least sorry? There are countless good deeds which I am unable to mention here one by one. Let it be sufficient for me to say that you will be able to accumulate many merits if you deliberate on the above 10 categories of helping others.
What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at your ignorance. The apparent reason for your failure in exam is that your essay must not be good.
How do you know it's not good when you haven't even read it?
The most important element in writing good essays is peace and harmony. Your angry accusation just now clearly shows that your mind is not at peace and your temperament is violent. How could you possibly write good essays?
What should I do?
Whether you pass or not depends on your fate. If you're destined not to pass, then no matter how good your paper is, you will still fail the exam. You yourself will have to make the few changes.
How can I change it if it's predestined?
Through the power to form your destiny lies in the heavens. The right to recreate it is in yourself. As long as you're willing to do kind deeds and cultivate hidden virtues, there is nothing you ask that you will not receive.
I'm only a poor scholar. What good deeds can I possibly do?
Practicing kind deeds and accumulating hidden virtues all stem from the heart. As long as you constantly harbor the intent to practice kindness and accumulate virtues, your merits are infinite and boundless. Take the virtue of humility, for example. It does not cost anything. Why can't you be humble and reflect on your own essay instead of blaming the examiner for being unfair?
to pass the imperial exams. If a person can expand upon the heart which seeks to pass the exams to that of diligently doing kind deeds and accumulating merits, putting forth his best efforts to improve his character, then both destiny and prosperity are his to create. Tianchi, do you understand now?
Yes, I do, Father.